Hello. Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm just thrilled you were here. I'm so excited. We go way back when you think about it.
We sure do. My very first job at Williamsburg Cleaners.
Right?
We were 15 years old.
I know, dry
And
cleaners.
we were dedicated. We worked there for a while.
We did. We were very great, upstanding teenage girls.
Yes, we were.
In the early 2000s and late
we
90s.
worked. We worked all the time, as we still do. As we still do.
Right, exactly. And then, drift apart as you do in life, right?
Yeah,
Went on to
you head out.
college, went here, there, everywhere, but then magically came back into each other's lives when we had kids.
I know, it was so exciting. I think it was it a wrestling first?
I think it was when, let me see, somebody was in preschool and I can't even remember.
It was back in
Poor kids.
preschool.
Yeah, it was
Right.
like a preschool thing that I was like, oh my gosh, Tracy.
No, it's super fun. And now the kids are in
Yeah.
sports together.
Yes.
And it's
Patrick and Calvin just rocking it.
it's amazing to see them grow.
It's so fun. And it's like, it gives me flashbacks to like us.
I know.
It's like,
scary,
oh
but
gosh,
it's scary.
flies.
Time is flying.
It really does. It really does. And, I think we've both navigated a lot over the
This has not been
years.
easy.
No.
This has not been easy. And you worry about your kids regardless.
Yeah.
And that what's been our journey
Mhm.
has been different than
Yeah.
a lot of families. And it's and we it's okay to say that
Yeah.
because it has been different.
It's hard. And I think, with your journey, if, you're willing to kind of go down that road with us,
Of
you've
course,
been
yeah.
through a lot of loss and trauma and the hard stuff. Tell us about that a little bit.
Okay. So I am used to speaking this story now,
Yeah.
as it is what I have the foundation of my business. Shine On Investments, where we all shine on,
Yeah.
was built from a place that everybody goes through things in life.
Yeah.
And it is so important to be protected because you don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
10 years ago, my husband, Michael, he was running a race. He ran the Pittsburgh EQT 10-mile marathon. He was 32 years old, healthy as could be, went to CrossFit all the time. Our kids were 3 and 5 months old,
Mhm.
and he did not come home that day. His heart went into an arrhythmia, and once I arrived, I was not there. I was home taking care of the baby.
Yeah.
And I did call him to say I wasn't coming, and I got to tell him I loved him.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got to the hospital, they said that they were working on him. And I didn't know what they meant. I thought he was dehydrated
Yeah,
or something.
right.
And then short time later, feels like less than 5 minutes, they took me back to the little room and just said we could not save him.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I knew that he was never coming back.
Right.
And it was shocking. I was in complete shock. And that lasted for a while.
Yeah.
When you lose your spouse, you lose your best friend, you lose the father or mother of your children, you lose the life that you had planned together.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I'm so incredibly passionate about life insurance is because many people believe that you have this policy in place to pay off your debt,
Yeah.
to pay
Right.
final expenses.
Mhm.
And if your spouse, at the time I was in the industry, I was just starting selling life insurance.
Sure.
And because I worked with his dad, but I was doing it part-time because I had the kids at home. And I remember his dad coming to us when we were pregnant with Josie, and he said, sign here.
Yeah.
Sign here.
Right.
And, so we were so fortunate to have the policy in place.
Yeah.
And what it had taught me when we unfortunately had to receive his life insurance is that it is the tool that gives you time to figure out what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
The thought of going back to work, the thought of the bills don't stop.
Yeah.
What does stop is income, benefits, but nothing else stops.
You still have to parent through the grief.
You have to
still
parent through the
You
grief.
have to live through it.
And yes, and you don't have a choice.
Yeah. You
You
don't
get
have a
through it.
choice. And, there's so much purpose through your pain, I think, that happened from this. It's a terrible situation, but you've turned it into such a beautiful thing for so many people, I think. I just hope you realize,
I appreciate
how much you affect,
that.
and me being one of them, right?
I appreciate that.
I feel like it was one of those things that, you're a trusted person to me, and I knew, you were in this industry now and everything like that. And with Michael, right?
Mhm.
And I think that that's what set our family off too,
Mhm.
is that heaven forbid something happens to Pat or myself,
Mhm.
and or down the line,
Mhm.
Michael's always going to have somebody take care of him.
Right.
And just making sure that we're setting up for that purpose and really
Mhm.
doing that. And then coming, out to us and helping my mother.
Oh,
who
her
loves
mother
you.
is the
Yeah,
best.
compare.
She is the best.
Rita, so appreciative, helping her, and helping her prepare and things along those lines too. Just, it really was a huge difference maker.
Being financially prepared is something that, a lot of us think that nothing's going to happen. I mean, we don't want to think anything bad is going to happen. But the worst thing would be having a tragedy happen and then financially ruin you on top of that.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun with your mom.
Yeah.
She had an annuity and she wasn't sure what was going on with that. And we got,
like, most people I feel like do. That's got to be like a common thing that you see.
I see all the time people, because in addition to life insurance, I work with people for their Roth IRAs, their investments, their planning for the future,
Right.
college savings plans, 401k rollovers, all of those. And Rita had an old annuity
Yeah.
that she wasn't paying any attention to,
Mhm.
like, because once it's set up, a lot of people don't pay attention to it,
Yeah.
and it literally was doing like nothing, and it wasn't invested properly. And so I explained to her, what we can do with it, and it's been doing great.
Yeah, it's been
Ever
doing
since then.
wonderfully.
And I do see people all the time. They're like, I think I have this, and it's totally a different thing.
Right.
And that's why I love to do this,
Yeah.
because I want to help people.
Yeah. And I think just parenting in general, you always want to make sure your kids are better off in life, I think, than maybe you've been. I look at it that way with my own kids. I want to make sure that they are financially aware, but then also with Michael. Michael is a huge piece of all of our lives, and, one of 4 kids. And, I hope and pray one day that they're going to be there for him. I know they will.
They will be there for him.
Also, you go back and forth in your mind that it's like, I don't want them to be burdened with something when Pat and I aren't here anymore, or when we can't be the ones that are here managing and taking care of that. That I have the assurance that I can set them up. They're good. And they're just going to be there for their brother and not necessarily have to figure out all of this financial stuff and be taken down by that, going through a loss of a parent, and things like that, that it's just taken care of. It's good. They're good.
And recently we got you set up with an ABLE account.
Yes.
And an ABLE account, a lot of people don't know about those. People think,
no, but the amount of people in the special needs community that don't really have a clue about it, that have never heard of it, is just, it's disheartening.
It's an amazing way to save for your child that has a disability. It's much like a 529 college savings plan. The money grows tax deferred when she needs it for any reason. For Michael in the future, it's all tax free for them. And to get to, I want to talk about just for 2 seconds, you feeling as though Michael may be a burden on the other kids. They love him so much.
Oh,
that is their brother, and they will grow together.
Yeah.
And they, and your boys will be prepared, and Mackenzie will be the little mama. And, and she'll be the one, she'll be the one taking care of everything.
Right.
What I mean?
Exactly. She'll be in charge. That's for sure.
I think that's something you obviously can't avoid worrying about, but they're going to grow up.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you do, as a parent, I think you worry constantly, and there's different layers of it. Like,
that is something that nobody talks about.
Nobody
They
does.
talk about the long nights. They talk about the
Yeah.
crying. They talk
Right.
about how your life is going to change.
There's like the Instagram parenting, I call it, that it's like the fun topics that people talk about. And it's like, oh, the infant days or oh, this days. But then there's the parenting of like real life, right? And I think
It's all consuming.
it is. And for folks like us, I think that you and I have always been able to kind of connect on a different level when it comes to like grief, but not just like sadness and death, but you know, with Michael's our third child, and we have two very neurotypical older boys with Patrick and William. Expecting that with Michael, and then Michael, you know, having his epilepsy and having the medical issues that he had very unexpectedly to us at 18 months when he got diagnosed. He was so little. But you have this image in your mind of what your life is going to be like. And then something changes and there's a grief there because it's like, well, no, my life wasn't supposed to be like this, but now it is like this. And I think, you know, in addition to losing your husband, there was also a tragic accident with your daughter. And then there was also a form of epilepsy with your other daughter that it's just like seizures. Like,
yeah, it's
you know,
it's been a wild 10 years.
Yeah.
Our youngest, Sydney, they thought that she was having febrile seizures, and it turned out that she was having epileptic seizures, and she was in the ICU. And when I was there, I met a woman who was telling me about her child and how the seizures were affecting him. And as soon as Audrey talked to me about Michael, I'm like, you guys have to connect.
Yeah, and we've become very close.
And because you don't know, we're not doctors, we don't know anything about this, but I will say there's something to be said about it's okay to not be a doctor, because your mother instinct is more powerful than any doctor.
It is. And you turn into a doctor almost. Like, I mean,
you absolutely do turn into a doctor.
The amount of medical jargon that I have gotten good at over the years because you've just been forced into it.
Absolutely.
You just have to do it.
Like I said, I knew when Michael passed that he was gone.
Yeah.
That there was absolutely nothing that I could do about that. And Audrey mentioned the accident with my daughter, and I'll get into that a little. I'll talk about that now. That was a completely different sort of trauma. It was terrifying. My daughter, Josie, who now is 13 years old.
Crazy.
She now sings and dances.
Amazing.
She, you would never know what she went through.
Yeah.
Besides a scar that you can see.
Right.
My daughter was at Seven Springs with her grandfather, her brother, her cousin, and I was home with the baby, and a snowboarder was coming down the hill so fast that he hit her. She flew 20 feet in the air, and he snapped her neck in half. She was internally decapitated. She suffered 5 other injuries that each one of those could have been fatal on their own, and I got the call. I got the call
again,
and what they told me was the same thing they told me when I walked in the hospital with Michael, that they were working on her.
Oh my gosh, Traci.
I felt my soul leave my body in that instant. I remember being in my driveway and just dropping to my knees, and I was terrified. And we flew down to Children's Hospital, and it took a few hours for her to get there. She was life flighted to another hospital first. When they got there, she was on the scale. I think it's the glaucoma scale. I think that's it.
Yeah, right.
And she was a 3, which means that you're dead.
Yeah.
And they gave her a CT scan. That with the CT scan, they felt as though she also had a brainstem stroke in addition to these other injuries, and they had written her off and called the doctors and told them to go home. There was no hope. And they told us that her heart was beating, but she is not going to live through the night.
Yeah.
And I stood up and I just went into the corner and I just stared into the corner. I didn't know how to look at people. I didn't know what to think or to feel. I couldn't believe it. And then we had a godsend, and his name is Daryl Fields, and he was the neurological understudy at the time. He wasn't our main surgeon. But what he did was said, I need to see a full MRI on her. She doesn't look like she had a brainstem stroke.
Yeah.
Her face was still so angelic and beautiful and not beat up at all.
Yeah.
And they gave it to her, no brainstem stroke. So they did a 6-hour operation the next day.
Yeah.
And they told me that the outcomes were she wasn't going to make it. And if she does make it, her quality of life would be not great. And it was just it was so scary. It was devastating. It was confusing. It was just like, why? Why is this happening? Why? And my therapist has told me many, many times there is no why.
Yeah.
There is no why. And but my daughter, the next day after her surgery, he came in and he said, Josie, in her ear, wiggle your toe, Josie.
Yeah.
And sure enough, her little toe wiggled.
Yeah.
And a few days later, her eyes started to open. And little by little, she started to recover.
Yeah.
But she could not eat. Her neck was so, they tried to extubate her, and she went down then as well.
Yeah.
They got the tubes back in. She needed a tracheostomy to get out of that. She couldn't swallow.
Yeah.
Which is, you produce 2 liters of saliva every single day.
The things you know now.
Yeah, they call it secretions.
Right.
And you would have to suck that out of her. I mean, there's nowhere for it to go if you can't swallow.
Yeah.
It was amazing what she went through.
And to see your child in that state,
it was like seeing her being drugged behind a horse.
Yeah. And it's just, I can relate, but I can't relate. And we've talked about this before because with Michael, he had to have brain surgery. So he was in there and he's hooked up to all this stuff and he's got a thing breathing for him. And when you're just looking at your child in a state that is not natural, it is not meant to be. And it's just, I was prepared, right? Like I knew we're going in to have brain surgery. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. And, with Michael, he ran into a little trouble in the surgery because he got some fluid in his lungs. So they brought him out, but then they had to take him back in and it was a whole kind of thing. But when you're going through these medical traumatic experiences, I think it just takes it to a whole nother level.
I feel like the immediate thought is that you're going to lose them.
Yeah.
That you're going to lose them. And unfortunately, Audrey and I have to face the fact that our children, my Josie and her Michael, are not the same children as they once were.
Right.
And we grieve that.
Yeah.
I am so fortunate that Josie survived, that Josie is thriving. On paper, she is, a doctor looks at it on paper and they're like, they look at, wait, what's going on? I look back now and I believe that Michael passed. It was sudden and it was unexpected, and I believe he saved her.
Yeah.
The medical community, there was no explanation as to why she was doing so good, and today she's just amazing.
Yeah.
But I believe she was gone her heart stopped for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is unreal.
But
she's okay.
And getting through that, like, you don't really realize how strong you are in something until you have no other choice but to be strong through it.
People say all the time, I don't know how I would do it. I don't know how I could have done it, right? And I don't know how you're doing it. And, and you do it because you're their mother, and you have to. You love them so much that you don't want to see.
You have that big love. The big love is never the question. It's never a question. There's always the love, but you have to find the meaning and to get through the hard stuff.
Yeah, and you will do it, and you can do it.
Yeah.
And then you adapt.
Yeah, you do. And part of that adapting was, again, taking this to another level with Shine On and
I'm so excited about it. Yeah. I've been in this industry with life insurance and investments now for 13 years. It's funny because I went to fashion school. Michael, my husband, was an accountant by nature, and I never saw this as my journey, but I decided when I was, pregnant with Josie and having Josie that I would do this part-time. I'd get my life insurance license. And even before Michael passed, the thing I love the most about um, being in this business is that number one, I am up against a sea of men.
Yes,
A
right.
sea
Ain't
of
that the
men.
truth, right?
And it is rare to find a female advisor.
Yeah.
I think that females bring empathy,
Mm-hmm.
they and understanding to your situation. I was just at a prudential convention, and I was probably one of a handful of women amongst 500 men.
Wow.
And I'm used to that now, right?
Which is like crazy because you would think that this is an area that women could provide women are like the natural managers of the family unit, right? Like I look
Yes.
at myself even in my position with my own internal family, and it just comes more natural to me than it does with Pat. So you would think in this industry it would come almost more natural to women.
I do hear sometimes, my husband handles all those things, but I mean, in my family too, I'm the one doing all the bills,
Right,
organizing everything,
Yeah.
knowing where everything is. And I love working with families because, they have their unit, they have their life together. And let's say the mother's a stay-at-home mother and the dad works, and
Mhm.
they feel secure because they have insurance through work.
Right.
And like that's where I come in, and I educate them on the fact that insurance through work is just not enough.
Yeah.
It's a nice benefit to have,
Sure.
but think about if he were to get sick
Mm-hmm.
and he lost his job
Yeah.
or he got laid off.
Yeah.
If he got sick, then he's no longer insurable.
Yeah.
And you lose your benefits and you have no more life insurance.
Yeah.
And I've heard these horror stories through the widow groups that I've attended.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so, so fortunate that we did have life insurance in place. I don't know what my life would have looked like without it. And then that's where the investing tool came in.
Yeah.
What I did with my life insurance was I invested it,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been taking an income from it
Yeah.
for over 10 years now.
That's amazing.
And I just touched the principal when I recently moved.
Yeah.
And so this knowledge of my life experiences
Mhm.
helps people from the beginning, starting off and then all the way until retirement.
Well, and I think another important part too that I'm seeing also on a different aspect of it with a special needs child and within the special needs community and things along those lines is just really understanding how you can fit all of that in. Now, Michael is 6, right? And it's just like nobody with young children are thinking about that. But like, unfortunately, I have to think about when Michael is 30 or 40 years old and fitting that piece together and being able to take a portion of an income and manage.
We have so much on our plates.
Not everybody. You also don't have to be like a millionaire to save.
Oh my gosh,
right?
no.
Biggest
So
misconception.
I am not a fee-based advisor, and I don't charge for my time, although I have been told many times, know your worth, charge for your time.
Right.
My mission is to explain these different concepts to families, to people in a way that I would have needed it explained to me 13 years ago when I was working in fashion.
Right.
And I think that's one of the most important things, because it can be so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You can come into a meeting, we can talk about life insurance, we can talk about investments, we can talk about the mutual funds, the 12B1 fees, and then I start glazing over.
You just go for it.
And I think that's what makes people feel really comfortable.
It does. You do bring that. You bring that in so many levels. And it's funny because I have to say, like, the conversations that you and I always endure is, I don't know how you do this.
Yes, out when we're out.
Wah, wah, so, kind of thing. But it's just like, I don't know how I do this either, but I do. And here we are.
And we should be very proud of ourselves.
Yes.
We should be very proud of ourselves because in addition to, handling what we've been through, what I am so fortunate that Josie is okay. Mm-hmm. Our life could have looked very, 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 very different.
Sure.
and
life is good.
And life is good. I just got remarried.
I was gonna say,
yeah, I just got remarried to the man to Matt. We went to prom together.
Love it.
And he was Michael's best friend, and he brings that to he's brought that to our family. He's been by my side for a very long time, and the kids, we're just a unit, and I'm so fortunate, to have that.
I have to ask you, have you ever heard the Welcome to Holland poem?
Please tell me about it.
So
I remember Mr. Holland's Opus. Not
different Holland. Okay. There is I think it's like an autism kind of journey poem. But the story is that you are preparing for your life. You're ready to go to Italy. You're going to Sicily. You're going to visit this place, and you're packed up for that. And you get on this plane, and you're so excited because you've been learning the language, and you've been figuring this out, and you've been just ready to go on this journey. And you get off the plane, and you're in Holland, and you're surrounded by tulips and windmills.
I have heard this.
All of this stuff, and then you're just like, but I wanted to go to Italy.
Right.
Well, you're in Holland, and there's nothing else you can do about it now.
Freak out.
And you kind of are like, well, I don't know the language here.
Yeah.
I don't know any of this stuff. And how am I supposed to get through this and do this? And they, in the special needs and autism community, they say that's a lot like this journey when you run into things like you and I
have heard this.
And you just have to. And then all of a sudden you look around and you realize, like, wow, these tulips are really beautiful.
Yeah.
And that windmill over there is amazing. And you know what? Actually, the language is a little tough, but I can figure it out.
And you become grateful.
And then you just start to really love Holland.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm at I didn't think I'd feel joy and excitement the same way that I did before everything. But I do
because we want our kids to thrive. We want them to be like everybody else, I guess, in a way to say it. And when they have a disability or if there's something that makes them different, that brings us pain because we assume that it's going to be harder for them.
Yes, right.
And instead, when we really sit back and look, they're happy.
They are.
And they're special.
Yes.
And they have their own unique traits. And there's something special about not being like everybody else.
There is. That is the truth.
And the struggle brings you a lot of confidence in your ability to mother. You know what you're doing.
Yep.
And you've been through it now.
Yep. And guess what? Nothing's perfect. It's not supposed to be.
Right. And nothing is going to break you at this point.
Yep.
You got it. Yep. And, look at you. You have, 4 kids, right? When she got pregnant with Mackenzie, I was like, on purpose, Audrey. And
Mackenzie is a joy.
Yes.
And very special, unexpected joy.
The girls are so different than the boys.
They are.
Totally.
And the boys.
When I got pregnant with Josie, my dad said, you deserve a girl.
I know, right?
Yes.
That's the truth.
But, now you're starting this podcast journey.
Yes.
And everything that you do, for this community, for your family, for your friends, you have just been a joy. You've been a joy to know. And I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful too. I'm grateful for people like you in my life and in our family and everything like that. And, Traci Kovacic-Stein, thank you for coming.
Yes,
to Long Days, Big Love podcast.
Great.
I can't wait to talk again.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll be back at it.
Yeah. Totally a series with Traci Kovacic-Stein.
Right?
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.